It all began on 7 September 1989 when Foreman's former client, Miss Otherthan, now Miss Weiss, consulted her about a family law property settlement. As per firm practice, Foreman provided a package of documents, including a costs agreement that day, outlining the fees to be charged. A dispute arose with her client, however, over legal costs, which exceeded $500,000. The key issue? Whether the client had agreed in writing to costs above scale. A further problem quickly arose a few months later in December of the same year, when, contrary to Foreman's belief, the signed cost agreement could not be found. Facing significant pressures due to the threat of the Family Law Division at Clayton Utz being shut down as a result of improper administration, Foreman knew that the absence of this document would have devastating effects on the future of this division and her career at the firm, which is what ultimately led to the string of misconduct concerned with this case. Under pressure, both from her client and from within her firm, Foreman panicked. When reviewing her original timesheets, she realized that not only was the cost agreement missing, but she had also forgotten to record on her timesheet that she had given Miss Weiss a costs agreement in the first place. So, in what can only be described as a slippery slope, on 27 July 1990, Foreman rewrote the second page of that prior day's timesheet, adding a new note. Gave Miss Weiss her costs agreement and property information sheet. Foreman had her secretary replicate the handwriting and reference numbers to make the altered document appear authentic. The falsified version was then photocopied, swapped into her file, and the original destroyed. Later, during costs proceedings brought by Miss Weiss, this amended document was included in an affidavit and submitted to the family court, without any disclosure that it had been altered. Things quickly escalated on 11 October 1991 when Miss Weiss's lawyers issued a subpoena requiring the original timesheets to be produced by the firm's accounts department. Then came what counsel famously described as Alice in Wonderland. Foreman claimed that on Sunday 20 October 1991, she happened to be in the office tidying a pile of timesheets destined for counsel, during which she just happened to notice that the original 1989 sheet looked shorter than the version in her file. She claimed that this is what revealed the discrepancy between the two documents. This in turn led to Foreman's next act of professional misconduct, where, in response, Foreman created a second false timesheet. She replicated the amended version, complete with the handwritten notes in red pen by her secretary and a backdated stamp, making it nearly identical to the first forgery. She inserted it into the bundle and once again destroyed the original. The Court of Appeal found this conduct demonstrated a clear intent to deceive, despite Foreman's claims that her actions were conducted in a state of amnesia and that she had no recollection of actually reconstructing the timesheet. It was not until October 25, 1991, where Foreman was confronted with a copy of the original, unchanged timesheet, which had been retained by the accounts department at Clayton Utz, unbeknownst to Foreman, that she finally confessed to her misconduct. Initially fined $20,000 by the Legal Profession Disciplinary Tribunal, the matter was appealed in Law Society of New South Wales and Foreman, 1994. In a split decision, the Court of Appeal ultimately ruled to strike Foreman from the role of solicitors. Justice Kirby dissented. He acknowledged Foreman's misconduct but highlighted her remorse, her decades of service, glowing character references, and the harsh personal fallout she had already faced due to the public nature of this matter. He proposed a suspended order instead, allowing Foreman to continue practicing, recommending that it be done in a community law setting, while also more generally criticizing Clayton Utz's excessive fees and unethical billing systems. But the majority, Mahoney and Giles, took a firmer view. They emphasized the deliberate, calculated nature of Foreman's actions, and the lasting damage such conduct could do to public trust in the legal profession. Ultimately, the appeal was allowed and Foreman's name was removed from the role, emphasizing that integrity is non-negotiable in law.